Welcome back, you guys. How you all doing today? I'm Nini FC. This is Blue Lines TV, and today I'm here to bring you guys the second news daily video for the day. Now, when I tell you guys how this second video constantly evolved as the day was going on, I mean, right now I'm trying to get this video out quickly because I want to see that Bayern vs Lyon UCL semi-final. Of course, if I release a video, you guys, it has to be up to date. And right now we have some beautiful, amazing stories and news to discuss. I'm here to break things down. I'm here to provide more context. I'm here to tell you guys some of the things I'm personally hearing as well. But right now things are looking absolutely beautiful, you guys. And for the three stories today, I'm going to speak about the latest news surrounding JORGINHO, THIAGO Silva, and Kai Havertz too. So before I get into things, you guys, if you like today's video, smash the hell out of that like button. I'm going to be ambitious and I'm going to go for 5,000 likes for today's video. So hopefully if you guys like things, you smash that button. And without wasting no more time, we start with the first story today. And to be honest, I think it's best we start with the latest developments and news surrounding Kai Havertz. Now obviously with stories like this, you know, it can be a bit difficult to report on them because, you know, naturally with the nature of things, it's not like I can reveal to you guys like the messages I'm seeing, the text, whatever. I guess I can just hope that you guys believe me. And to be honest, over the years I've been giving stories and running the news. I'd like to think that by now you guys trust me because I'm not about the fake stuff. I'm not about that type of nonsense. And on the real, it's not like exclusive news really boosts my profile, earns me more money or anything like that. So honestly, I got nothing to gain. I do this because as a fan, we've been in situations where you read these stories and you're always hoping that you can get a reliable figure that can tell us what's right and what isn't. You know, I'm in that situation where, you know, due to the channel, I met the right types of people. I'm very grateful for that. So when I tell you, when earlier today, Hudson-Odoi released a very cryptic tweet that was based on a Kai Havertz news story, this wasn't some next cryptic tweet that had some next, secret meaning. This was literally just a mistake. Now, if you guys pick up your phones, pick them up, go to your keyboards, you can see that H and B are very close to each other. And we've all been in situations where your phone's open, it's on, it's inside your pocket, and sometimes madness can happen and randomness can happen. So this weren't Hudson-Odoi doing anything, it was literally just a mistake. But the funny thing about the story was that literally right after that got confirmed, I got some news hearing that right now there is a 5 million valuation difference between us signing Kai Havertz. Now the great thing about this news I heard, of course the minute I heard it I had to revamp the video straight away, was that 20-30 minutes later a noticeable German journalist comes out making this news absolutely public. Right now there's a 10 million euro valuation difference, but based on what I'm hearing to you guys, it seems like 90 million is going to be the price it takes to sign Kai Havertz. So let's see what happens here, you guys. Things are really picking up a lot more pace. This breakthrough has developed due to the fact that we've been willing to offer more money up front for our fixed fee, and naturally Leverkusen want us to pay for the rest of the installments in less years and in a shorter time. Now using logic, I guess once this happens, then Leverkusen will be more willing to drop their original 100 million valuation, knowing the fact that from this deal they can get more of the money up front right now, which is key for them to reinvest back into the team and focus on that point, you guys, because for the third story based on JORGINHO, what I just said could be key when it comes to JORGINHO and AS Roma. Now I'm going to give you guys my thoughts and opinions. Now of course I always felt that we could get this deal done in this manner if we paid more money up front for the overall cost of the transfer. You know, in that sense, it provides Leverkusen more flexibility for themselves to conduct the business they need to do in this current window. Now you might be thinking, Nini, a 5 million difference in valuation is absolutely nothing, and yes, I do agree with you. However, of course, I'm not like an expert when it comes to the finances of how transfers work. This is where the plugs come in and really educate me on the manner. And one thing he told me, one thing he stressed is that budgeting is something clubs take very, very seriously. Now 5 million might seem like absolutely nothing in the grand schemes of things, however, everything is cumulative. For example, that 5 million could be the difference between signing someone like a Nick Pope and a Ben Foster. Whatever you pay more and extra for, it's going to be taken away from other targets you're focusing on and looking at. For example, let's say that we had an original budget of 85 million to sign Kai, then naturally we'd want to buy the player for less And that's why there were so many reports coming out on 70 million bids made for Kai Havertz. During windows like this in particular, where a club is looking to reinvest heavily into the team, these differences add up and make a big difference. So this leads things on nicely to the second story today, because in that sense, signing a free transfer, a free player, could really help us have more flexibility when it comes to having more budget to spend bigger on other targets out there. Now for the next story, I'm going to be speaking about THIAGO Silva, and this was reported by The Telegraph, and in it, they state that THIAGO Silva has been offered to our club on a free deal. Now if you're asking me, it's fairly obvious that right now THIAGO Silva's agent is going into overtime. He has interest in Spain, he has interest in Italy, he has interest in the Premier League from Ancelotti and Everton as well. THIAGO Silva has always stated that he wants to continue his career and end his career playing in Europe, and right now he is looking for a 2-year deal from a different club if they hope to sign him on a free deal. Now, based on the offer we gave to Willian, technically you could say that, okay, THIAGO Silva, if we're interested in you, then yes, we can meet your financial demands and meet your contractual demands too. Of course, naturally, THIAGO Silva would have to take a massive drop in his current salary. At Paris Saint-Germain right now, he's currently earning 1.3 million a month. That is a ton of money for a player that has now turned 36 years old and obviously has zero resale value. Now, based on how I finished the first story, okay, let's say we're exploring THIAGO Silva as a free deal because we have to make that deal because we're focusing on bigger players for different positions. We want to sign the very best we can get. So in that sense, THIAGO Silva could be the perfect stopgap replacement to use until we can reinvest in those areas maybe in January or the following season. There could be potential benefits towards signing THIAGO on a free. We know that at 36 years old, he has vast experience playing in Europe. THIAGO could provide that mentorship for our young defenders in your Zumas, Christensens and Tamoris. I'd assume that if this deal technically happens and he was to sign for us, then he'd have to naturally understand that he wouldn't be playing week in and week out. Of course, if we were to sign THIAGO on a free, then we'd have to get rid of a defender first, and who knows? I mean, I'm literally projecting right now, but ideally I would not mind if that was Rudiger. However, I guess there wouldn't be any sense behind that, knowing that Werner and Kai are signing for us, and I guess, you know, for these guys to acclimatise to London, then having Rudiger in the squad and the team makes a big difference for those players. Still though, at the same time, does THIAGO even speak English? I did a lot of research to find out if he does, and I don't think he does, honestly, you guys. So I wouldn't know how he'd be able to effectively communicate with other players in the team. I guess speaking French, he could play alongside a Kurt Zouma with Kante in front as well, then yeah, that could work out. But if I was to keep this real, the impression I get from this story is that I'd consider THIAGO Silva near the end of the window, and that's based on things whether we can't sign other players for other positions. You know, he does have a few more years in him. As we saw last night against RB Leipzig, he is still a top quality defender. So on that point, I'm going to pose this question to you guys. Would you take THIAGO Silva as your stopgap player if it meant you had to for business reasons, for budgeting reasons, if it meant we could sign other bigger players for different positions? Let me know below. And to end things with the final story today, and as I say all the time, just because it's the final story doesn't mean that it's a dead story or a boring one. This story is based on JORGINHO and AS Roma. Now, to keep things real, this story came from Tutto Masato Web, who aren't known to be the most valid sources. You know, for me, they're like a tier 5, tier 4 type of source. And I'm telling you guys this so you can make it out how you will. For me personally, I think there could be potentially more to this story. Now, to give you guys a brief little history on Roma, during the start of the summer window, they were in some deep financial mess. They reported an annual loss of up to 250 million, and due to this, they were looking desperately for a buyer. Now, during the summer, they've had people coming in to make offers, them never coming through, but only a few days ago, when you fast all the way forward, it seems like US billionaire Dan Friedkin is close to signing Roma and has bought majority stakes up to €500 million. So, does this tell us that maybe Roma could have some funds to spend in this window? I still think it's early days, however, there is some other interesting information. And earlier today, when I released the first video on Kai Havertz, we do know that Leverkusen are turning their attention towards Patrick Schick from RB Leipzig. He is currently on loan at Leipzig, and his parent club is AS Roma. So technically, could Marina be looking to do something she's already done before, she's had a history of doing before, and they were the deals done in January in the 17-18 window. Now this was the definition of a transfer merry-go-round. We saw Olivier Giroud coming to us, which meant that Michy Batshuayi could go to Dortmund, which meant that Dortmund could sell Aubameyang to Arsenal. Now seeing things from this perspective, could we be hoping something similar happens again? We signed Kai Havertz, which then gives the funds to Leverkusen to buy Schick, and then Roma get the funds to buy Jorginho or Havertz. Who knows, you guys, it does seem realistic, and maybe it becomes even more realistic when you realize that right now, it seems like Roma are looking to sell players and revamp their squad as well. At this point in time, reports from Italy do suggest that they are currently in business with Napoli in a swap deal involving Under and Milik, so that could work out there. And reports also say that right now, Arsenal are showing interest in Amadou Diarra and they're potentially looking to do a swap deal involving Torreira. Recently, they've just bought the full ownership of Brian Crisanti, and it seems like he's a player destined to leave Roma this summer. Do Roma now have the funds to make a move for Jorginho? Who knows, you guys? In the case of Jorginho right now, he needs to go. I mean, if he has any hopes of playing for Italy in the Euros next summer, he has to go. Realistically, he won't be playing as many games. The reason why he played so many games this season came down to so many injuries happening in midfield. Right now, it seems like Juventus, they've turned their attention to Tonali instead, and Jorginho's options aren't really big and aren't really high. If Roma came through, with Roma right now, they could be an attractive club to look for. Of course, you're in Rome, an absolutely beautiful city already. I'd imagine that Jorginho would consider moving back to Italy too to boost his hopes of playing first team football for the Italian national team. And technically, we could be creating a situation that gives Roma the funds to buy a player off our hands. This wouldn't be the first time Marina's worked this amazing, beautiful magic like this. If you're asking me, I definitely feel like this story has a lot more weight and legs behind things. So on that point, you guys, that is going to be me for today. I hope you guys did enjoy. Some big developments, you guys. Havertz is destined to be our player. Maybe in the next 5 days. The next 5 days, we could see him officially announced. I mean, this summer's looking absolutely unreal. Let's see what other business we get done. I'm NiniFC, the Blue Lions TV. I'll catch you guys later with some more videos.